it's an interesting concept to be doing something when you don't know where you're going or what it's going to be.
Mhm.
Um, like it's almost like you're driving the car, but you can't even see the road.
I'm your host, Sara Walsh, and welcome to Attainable Podcast.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Attainable Podcast. I hope you guys are doing well. Today we are actually starting our series on creativity. I don't have a fun name for it yet. If you have any suggestions, I'd be happy to hear them. But I have on my friend Sara Walsh. She is the designer and founder of Siren Swim Co, which we realized at the end of the episode, we never actually said the brand name. So Siren Swim Co. We'll have all the links in the bio or the show notes. You know what I'm talking about, all the types of things. This was a super interesting episode. We went through her creative process. She started as an artist and how she comes up with designs, and she broke down the process of creating a swimwear brand from like beginning to end, which was incredibly interesting. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the episode. It is a really good one. I really loved recording it, so I know you're gonna love listening. And without further ado, here's Sara. Hi, Sara. Welcome to Attainable Podcast.
Hi, Sarah.
I thought it'd be weirder having a friend named Sarah, but it's like a completely different name to me, especially since you don't actually have it with an H. I don't even identify.
Except for when people call our names at like restaurants or
Yeah, when they say like Sarah, or like when I was with you and your mom kept calling Sarah, I was like, what? What does she
I
want?
totally didn't know who she was talking to at any point in time.
Yeah,
So it's great.
but I'm so excited to have you on the podcast.
I'm excited to be on it.
Guys, if you're listening, of course you're listening. It's a podcast. What am I saying? For those who are listening, this is my friend Sara, and we've got an interesting story of how we met. Would you like to tell it or shall I?
I feel like you can start it.
Yeah, I gotcha. Oh yeah, because it's kind of nice to have perspectives, I feel. So I went on a Facebook group called like Charleston Work from Home Girls or something. I don't know. Joined a Facebook group like that. And I was trying to find a friend who had worked in like a similar field that I did, who had like a flexible schedule. Essentially, for the days that I wasn't working or like I was bored or like when I wanted to go on trips, and like my other friends were at their jobs, and I'd text them and be like, "What you doing?" They'd be like, "I'm working. I'm at work." And I'd be like, "Can you go to lunch?" They're like, "No, Sarah, I'm like at work." I needed a friend who could go to lunch like on a whim. Also worked for themselves, or worked in like a flexible space. So I went on this Facebook group and I was like, "Yo, hi, my name is Sarah. I like the beach and I like TikTok, and I would like a friend who works in social media field like me, so we can talk about social media and also works for like themselves or has a very flexible schedule. Please and thank you. Goodbye." And then like a couple of people answered, and like we corresponded, but it didn't work out. And then you answered and you were like, "I work in social media." And I actually don't remember what you said, but I remember being intrigued. I was like,
I
"Friend?"
think you basically said like, yeah, and that I also loved all the things you loved. I don't even think it was that interesting of an answer. So I'm really glad you actually
Yeah,
responded.
I don't know, something perked my interest. My heart said, "Oh, that's the one." And so we like met for coffee.
We both don't like
Neither
coffee.
of us don't like, or neither of us like coffee. Like we both got to the coffee shop and we were like, "Oh, I don't drink coffee." And we were like, "Okay." But like where else are you gonna meet a stranger? You just meet them for coffee. It's just like a thing. And so I think I don't remember what I ordered, nor does it matter.
You
Probably
got
got a
the
matcha.
dream thing.
I got a matcha
Yeah.
because I remember like we left. I don't even think we high-fived. It was like, "Bye, hope we hang out again." And then we like kept hanging out. But I remember
Funny
like getting in my
after that
car.
meeting was me texting my mom and being like, "Mom, I made a friend," and she literally thought I meant like an animal, like a cat friend. Like she was like, "Oh, you met another cat," and I'm like, "No, I met a human friend."
That's so cute. That's so cute. No, I remember getting in my car and like matcha. I don't know if I got it with the right milk, whatever. Usually matcha makes me bloated. And like I was in pain and I was like, I wonder if she could tell that my stomach is like going to pop my pants open because I'm in so much pain.
I was not aware.
I don't know how you would have been. And we talked We were there for like a odd amount of time.
No, like we were there until after they closed, and all of a sudden we both like looked around and we're like, wait, there's no
Oh,
one
there's
in
nobody left in
here.
here.
They're
And she was like
closed.
sweeping.
I
And
felt so bad. Like
I
she
felt
should have
so
put on.
bad because like they closed at 5 or something or 4, and it was like 4:30.
Yeah, we were there like
Yeah.
10 minutes late, and we're the only ones in there. She never
Yeah.
said
It
anything.
was like I think they closed at 4 and like it was 4:30 and she didn't say anything.
And we both were very unobservant, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, we were so encapsulated with ourselves
Yeah.
that we were like, no, nothing else exists. This is it. But anyway, so that's how we met. So Sarah is a good friend of mine now. How long were we good friends?
I think that was March. It was before you went all TikTok viral for being
That's true. Yeah. Oh my, it was like right
yeah.
before, like the
You
week
answered me
before.
for a couple days, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. She doesn't want to be friends. And then you finally text me, and you're like, the craziest thing happened. You like sent it to me, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, no, I think it was like the week before
Yeah.
that, the laundry video. That's funny. Anyways, it feels like we've been friends for a lot longer than that. But anyway, so Sarah's really, really cool, and she has a very, very cool swimwear brand. And so I really wanted her to come on and explain like her process in designing her swimwear, process of creating a brand and building a whole company, especially in like the fashion arena. And you're a very creative person, which I'm actually learning more about your like creativity. It's like something you really cutely keep a secret for me. You're also an artist. That was like new information. And then I like painted me a card and I was like, neat. Didn't know that about you. Felt like we were closer than that. But yeah, so I thought it'd be really fun to bring her on and especially explain like the whole process of like, I mean, you have swimwear and you like sell it. Like it's it's like when I imagine it being very daunting when you're like, I want to create a swimwear brand. And then it's like, okay, what's step one?
Yeah.
How do you actually get the swimwear like, in your hands
I
and
knew
then get
nothing.
it out of
So.
like out of your hands into somebody else's hands? Like that feels very daunting.
Yeah. I mean, I literally knew nothing when I started at all. I basically, like you said, I'm an artist, which I apparently never told you.
No, that's cute though.
Was not aware of that. Sorry. I literally just sketched bathing suits that I wanted to design in a sketchbook. Like they're very rough sketches in a sketchbook with random like scribbles all over them. And it was just because like I grew up on a lake. And then I go to the beach all the time since my parents have a house in Hilton Head. So I was always in bathing suits and I just always hated like the fit of them or the feel of them. And I don't know. I own like 60 something bathing suits. As you know, I have a shopping problem.
Yes.
Completely. So
Yeah.
I own a
Not
lot
a
of bathing suits because I have no self-control. Um, and I just kind of I couldn't find ones that like fit great or like there's always an issue with something. So I kind of decided I wanted to make my own, especially because I loved drawing. And originally I thought I would go more of the art world where I was creating actual art products and selling them. But I very quickly realized it's very hard to scale and it's very tiring to have to paint all the time. So I figured creating bathing suits was a good outlet for art and design while also being a business since I've
Yeah.
always loved business as well. But
You went to school, right?
I did
What did you go to school for?
entrepreneurship and small business management.
Where?
Quinnipiac University. It's in Connecticut.
I've literally never asked you if you went to college. You've
Big
never
college.
spoken about going to college. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, wow, I wonder how she learned all this. I was like, oh my God, I have no idea.
Yeah, I did go to business school.
Okay, so you got this down. So did you know that that was what you wanted to do? When did you come up with the concept of okay, I want to start a swimwear brand?
So when I was in school, like in entrepreneurship, like as your major, it's a lot of like there's no tests or quizzes and stuff like that once you reach a certain point in your degree. It's literally just projects working on creating a business, and like market research and learning how to create a business and going through those steps. I thought I was going to do it for like wedding invitations, um, and wedding products. I had no plans to do swimwear. My friend started an athletic wear line and I helped her with it. had a lot of fun doing it. And that's kind of when I started to get to the idea that maybe I would want to create a product that was more scalable, like I said. And it was actually, I was on vacation. This was like peak COVID, like November 2020. I was on vacation in Aruba with my family because we decided to go on our trip and not cancel everything. And I was walking on the beach with my mom, and I was like, I keep like bouncing around this idea of maybe creating a swimwear company. But I was like, I don't know how to do it. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And it's definitely not possible. And she was like, well, why is it not possible? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And she's like, I think you should just do it. So I basically was just like, oh, you're right. I should do it.
Your mom probably said it like slightly meaner than that.
Yeah, probably. Knowing her.
Very straightforward and very blunt, and I love her.
Yeah, she basically was like, what is wrong with you? Just start the business. Like, why are you scared? So I was like, all right, I guess I'm doing that. And I mean, my parents have been insanely supportive, so that definitely helped with creating it. But that's when I decided I wanted to do swimwear. So that was November. It was Thanksgiving of 2020. I didn't start really working on it until the new year in January, and I started just researching everything because I had no clue what I was doing. I don't know anything about sewing. I don't know anything about fashion. I just started drawing designs that I liked or designs that I found comfortable, and asking friends, and then drawing prints that I thought would be cool on bathing suits. But learning the actual side of the fashion industry was a lot harder because I didn't actually know anything.
Yeah. I want to like zoom out before we get into the details of like the steps of the brand, all the way down to your like creative process. And so like you were an artist and you have been an artist. And when did you first start like sort of I'll say exercising like your creativity or realizing, okay, I am creative, or I feel like I have like a creative brain in some way?
I feel like I've always drawn on everything. It's very interesting because even like in high school, I was in AP art, like I did all the art classes, but I also was very much an athlete. Like that was what my life was, and that's what my world was. I just kind of considered art to be a second thing that I liked doing. Um, but if you ask any teacher I had growing up, I did not listen to a word they said in class ever. And I just drew the entire time, which actually was me focusing. I had to draw to focus. But if you look at anything I have in my room, it's just like notebooks everywhere with like doodles always. That's all I do. So I think that's when I started. I mean, I've always drawn, like I said, but it wasn't until high school when my mom made me take an art class that I realized I was good at it. Um, and I would say I don't do art enough. I love doing it, and I know I'm a creative person and I love drawing. I just don't actually take the time to do it enough.
Yeah. I a big reason of why I am doing this series is because I'm very fascinated with the process of something coming into fruition within our brain, like neurologically, and
Mhm.
then how do we actually take that out of our brain and make it into something, whether that is art or a music or not a music, but art or music, film, like anything like a dance, anything like that. How is it that we can picture something or feel something and then put it into an external source? Um, so along that, I this is going to be a difficult question, I think, for everybody involved in this series, but can you sort of walk through, it may be helpful to even think of a particular project or maybe a design or something like that, like what it has looked like from getting the idea, what inspiration was there, to actually getting that down in whatever medium was appropriate?
Yes. As you know, my brain's a little bit scattered. I mean, I very obviously have ADHD. Um, and art was definitely a big help in that. Um, it's hard for me to pinpoint how I get it from my brain onto paper because I can't pinpoint most things in my brain.
Can you so you say you draw a lot, like do things just kind of come to your mind, or do you see something and it gets inspired by that, a little bit of both?
A little bit of both. I guess it depends. Like when I'm just kind of drawing all the time, a lot of the time it's different like I don't know if the word is like tribal or like Aztec design. It's just like random like flowers and things that turn into a whole pattern. I don't normally know what I'm drawing before it's on the paper when I do things like that.
That's
Um,
something that I find extremely fascinating because
yeah, I normally have no idea.
yeah, and I think a lot of art concepts, and artists that I've spoken to, it's an interesting concept to be doing something when you don't know where you're going or what it's going to be.
Mhm.
Um, like it's almost like you're driving the car, but you can't even see the road.
Yeah.
And it's very much a trust process, which I find very difficult and completely fascinating.
Yeah, there's definitely, I mean, there's projects I've done in the past when obviously you're like doing a portrait of someone or you're drawing a landscape or something like that, where obviously I know what it's going to look like beforehand because I've seen it. Um, and a lot of times that's me seeing something in real life or seeing like a photo on my phone or social media or something I thought was cool and turning that into some sort of drawing. Or I think I've drawn some things based off of like album covers I thought were really cool. And those obviously I know more of what I'm drawing before I start it, but I feel like it's almost like my hand has its own brain. It's just doing something and it's not
Hmm.
like I'm not aware of what my brain is telling it to do yet.
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah.
It also always looks terrible until it's finished.
Okay, let's pick that apart for a second. Because that's another thing that I think is interesting with that trust process of creating anything. I think everybody has like there's a part of that creative process where it looks like absolute shit or it is absolute shit. And how do you know when to keep going? Or when you are like in the middle of a process and you just kind of have to push through, or when you're like, oh yeah, this like needs to be scrapped, or do you really know until the end and you can decide for yourself?
I feel like for the most part, I don't know until the end and I just finish it anyways to see what it becomes. There have been pieces where I absolutely hate them and I do not go back and touch them ever. For the most part, I try to push myself through to finish them because I know that in the end, it probably won't look like the mess that it is in the middle, which I feel like is how most things in life are. Like the middle is always very messy. So I figure at some point I'll figure it out. And it normally turns out well. I mean, there's times when I'm erasing too much and getting too frustrated with a piece when that's normally when I drop it.
With designing your swimwear, what does that process look like? Have you gotten inspiration for those? And how does that go from neuron to you're like holding it?
Yeah, that one's definitely a lot more. I know what I'm already drawing onto paper. It's more like trying to catch up with my thoughts because they're going too quickly and I'm trying to get them onto paper before I lose them. And a lot of it comes from swimwear I've owned or swimwear I've seen other people wear and trying to put what the best features of each swimsuit, like the things I didn't like, trying to fix it and add um either like with the straps, like adding adjustments in the strap so that it could fit different types of people in different body shapes, or so that certain things don't dig into like your rib cage or anything on your body. But I would say a lot of it comes from swimsuits I've worn, or my friends have told me they've had issues with swimsuits and kind of like brainstorming how we can fix it or how we can make that design better. So it's combining a lot of things that I think would make swimwear more comfortable.
Has that been like a different type of challenge to, because now you're kind of mixing art with practicality?
um, in the sense that when it's not practical, you can make mistakes in your art and keep changing it and morphing it until it becomes something you would like. When it comes to something practical, obviously, you have to go back and you have to get it right and get
Hmm.
it the way it's supposed to be in your head, I guess, or the
There's
way
like
it
rules.
fits someone, or the way it's supposed to be so that a manufacturer can read the tech pack and understand the drawing, I guess, basically. So that's very different because there's a way it's supposed to look versus when
Hmm.
you're creating other art. There's not a way it's supposed to look. Like the way it turns out is how it was supposed to look.
Do you think that creating art with guardrails, I'll call them, like is easier or harder than without them?
I would say harder because I find it more frustrating sometimes. But that's definitely in creating the designs of fashion, but also with fashion, like so many things change so quickly that I guess there's also new boundaries you can push and new things you can draw and add to, that is pretty enjoyable and can make it easier because you can just create new ideas as you're going.
Yeah, I feel like there's I've always been a fan of the rules, and this is also some coming from somebody who I feel like I'm learning what creativity and art is, hence this entire series. But like for me, prompts has always been really helpful because I'm like, I get very overwhelmed by the blank space. Like I need a prompt or a purpose or like a starting point. But I've always wondered if that made me weaker as an artist, needing that. Like, is that a crutch or is that just a direction? Which I don't know. That's
I
there's
don't know.
necessarily an answer, but
Because I'm definitely someone who's well known for not liking rules, and like I like doing the opposite of what I'm supposed to do. I've been told quite often.
Mhm.
But in terms of like prompts and rules like that, I sometimes do enjoy them, because it involves less thinking. But I don't know, I do think I would struggle more with rules and prompts of what you have to create, which I think is why sometimes I struggle with creating a design that has to be exact.
Yeah. Has that there been a particular design that's been the hardest?
The tankinis
Why?
that I created, that's been, well, also to be fair, I don't wear tankinis.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot harder because I don't know how it should fit on someone. Also, I have a very small torso, so tankinis just in general would not work on me, and they look very odd on me. And I think it's almost harder to draw it and to create a design that I think will be great for everyone when I don't know as much about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I've struggled more with that because I don't have firsthand experience with the suit.
That makes sense. Yeah, I haven't worn a tankini since middle school.
Yeah,
But like the ones that you create, I'm they're so cute. That I can't get that poppy print like out of my head.
I love the poppy print.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Okay, so let's get into like the details of we'll do I guess like first design, first collection. You've done your research and you've got these sketches in a notepad. What is the process from start to finish to where you're then where I'll say even to where the person is now holding their swimsuit.
So yeah, I started, like I said, drawing sketches. Our first collection was called the Origin Collection. It was, or it is, 3 bikini designs, a one piece, a tankini, and 2 different designs of men's swim trunks, which actually is a lot to start with a first line. But when I first sat down and drew sketches of bathing suits, I think I drew 20 something bathing suits in one sitting. I literally don't think I left my room for like 24 hours. I just sat there drawing. So it was also like once I did that, I had to pick and choose what would be in the first collection and which ones I would focus on working on. But like I said, I didn't know anything about what I was doing. So I started by, I know my strengths are drawing and the business side of the world. My strength is not anything to do with digital, Photoshop, Adobe, Illustrator, any of that. I'm terrible at it. I've tried to learn it and it's just not my strength. So I started by finding a freelance designer. She's out of London, and I had a meeting with her where she basically talked me through like the basic process of how to create a line, and what you would learn in fashion school, but in the span of like an hour. She gave me like the very quick.
I think crash courses are where it's at,
Yeah,
man.
that's what it
Real
was.
real world I'm saying real world experiences, crash courses, and a like keep running till you break something mentality will get you anywhere.
Yeah. So that's what we did. And so after that, I realized that I could have her turn my sketches in a notebook into actual digital designs that I could show people. So I had those created from there. Those are called CADs, which if you ask me what that abbreviation is, I will not be able to tell you.
All right, that was gonna be my next question. We'll
I
just
think it's
move on
like
from that.
computer something with an A design.
Animated design.
Maybe, I don't know. I really
You
don't.
keep talking. I'll do a Google.
All right, great. So those were created. I did that for like all 20 designs. So I could see them in digital form and more so that I could show other people because obviously they're gonna look at my sketches and they're not gonna see what I see. Because those were rough sketches. From there, I decided my favorite designs and what I thought to be in the Origin collection and had those created into tech packs. Tech packs are basically like a blueprint, but for the fashion industry. So it's all of the details that manufacturer needs to create your designs. Did you find what CAD stands for?
Yes, it's computer aided design, and now I'm going to Google what a tech pack looks like.
Okay.
Does that look like what are those things that you would buy at like Michael's or whatever to sew something? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Like when you go to sew something,
Yeah.
there are these like packets of like plans on like how to sew it. And it's
Literally never seen that in my life.
you've never seen that in your life. Okie dokie. Well,
Can't help you with that.
okay.
I
I'm
can
gonna I'm Googling.
Like-
Oh yeah, okay, they're kind of like I see it. If you Google tech pack, like I understand what this is. Now I have to find out what the word all of this is going to be definitions. Anyway, okay. Sorry, tech pack. Keep going.
So yeah, a tech pack basically has, it has the photos of what you're having designed. It has the measurements that you would like. It normally has a size you want the sample created in. It has your prints and your colors, all of that. So to have the tech pack finished, I also needed to have my prints created into print. Is that a CAD too? I don't know. So basically my prints, like the poppies, the daisies, the sunflowers, all those different prints I created, I sketched them or came up with ideas and I sent them to a designer who was friends with the designer I had who created the tech packs and the CADs. And she turned them into print digital designs.
Interesting. So all of your prints you drew?
Yes.
I don't know why I didn't already think that, but that's extremely cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Okay.
some of them I sent her like ideas of what I wanted along with like a little sketch, and she changed a little bit to try to figure out what I wanted in terms of a digital print. But yeah, mostly sketched.
Okay. Also, found out what it's called when you want to sew something, you go get the pattern. Anybody listening to this probably like was screaming it. I hate when I'm listening to a podcast or something and they're like, "Oh, what's that word?" I'm like screaming at my car radio. I'm like, "It's this." And I just did it. Anyway, it's called a pattern. Do you not know what that is?
No.
Oh my gosh, they're actually so cute. Like they're made out of paper. And they look like I don't know why all the patterns I've seen look like they came straight from the 40s. Like they still it's like this thin paper.
I feel like I know what you're
It's
talking
like
about.
dotted lines.
Yes, I so know what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, but that's not what a tech pack looks like.
No.
A tech pack is a little different. But anyway, okay. So the patterns.
Yes.
Got that. Okay.
I can't remember what it was. Yeah, so the prints were created. So when you get your tech packs, you then get samples created. So you send your tech packs, all of that. You pick what fabrics you want. That's included in the tech pack. The hardware, which is like the clip in the back of a bathing suit or the adjustments. Those different types of hardware. That's hardware.
Does the factory have like things to choose from, or are you like, do you have to kind of yours did? So it was kind of a multiple choice feature.
Yes. So I did a lot of research on manufacturers. I ended up going with the one I went with because you can do very small quantities of orders. So your minimum, your MOQ is very low, which was great for me because I wanted to do a lot of different designs and try them out. So I went with them. They also are a sustainable factory. So they donate to a bunch of different charities. They are committed to help cleaning up the oceans. They treat their workers really well. And just everything about them was, I mean, they give them like, they have classes on how to be sustainable in your home life for their employees. So all of that was really awesome for me. They give them like a stainless steel water bottle, things like that, so that they can be more sustainable in their life. So I thought that was really cool. But they also offer where you can order bathing suits that they already have designs created of. Like they come out with different lookbooks and catalogs for resort wear, athletic wear, bathing suits, different things like that for each season. And you can pick from their designs and either change the print or pick your own colors or tweak it a little bit as well. So they're kind of a different type of manufacturer. I created all my own designs, but there is an option for you to use some of their ready-made designs instead of doing custom designs. So it's a little bit different. But so you can send them your tech pack and everything, and you go through all of it and you can figure out fabrics and stuff like that with them. So they source the fabric and the hardware and stuff like that for me. I can get my tags created through them. I can get the liner inserts in like the bottom of a bathing suit, the hygiene liners through them, which is not always the case. Like sometimes you have to source your own fabric and have it sent to the factory and then have them use that to create it. So I kind of chose like an all-in-one factory type of thing, I guess, instead of having to go through all the different steps, which was great for me as a beginner and having no clue what I was doing. It was really great to have a manufacturer who was able to help with all those different steps. And they had the fabrics I wanted to use anyways.
Do you think at this point, like now that you've done a few like that, you would still like recommend something like that, or do you think you'll outgrow it?
I would recommend it definitely starting out, especially when you have low minimums and when you don't want to have to order a ton in one things. Like they have, you just have to order 20 of each color in a style, and you have to order 3 in each size, which is really low, which is great when you don't want to order a bunch of things because you're starting out. So I think that option's great. I think if I were to continue to grow and want to place bigger orders, that I probably should switch factories because you would save money on ordering more pieces. I pay a lot more per piece than I would have to if I was probably with a different manufacturer.
Got it. Okay. Okay, so you've picked out the they have the fabric, you've sent them the tech packs, and they're like, okay, we're gonna make it. Great.
Yeah, so you have the samples created. So first round, you have samples created and you also have your print. I don't remember the word for it off the top of my head, but they basically sent me like a sheet of fabric that's like
interesting.
It's like, I don't know, like the size of a piece of paper, basically.
Yeah.
It's the print that you want to design. So I think I had 10 designs in the first one. They send you the print and then they also send you the sample. The sample is only created in one color, which did cause problems for me that I'm currently still dealing with now. Because when I approved the prints, obviously I'm seeing them in front of me. I'm like, wow, this design is beautiful. I love this. The fabric, the quality is great, all of that. I wasn't able to match the print I had designed to the color of the fabrics I was using for bottoms. So like I only did prints on some of the tops. I didn't do it on all the bottoms. So I wanted to match certain tops with certain solid colored bottoms. I wasn't able to match those colors up next to each other and be like, okay, the print is matching the bottom, which is now causing problems for me. But there were ways around that I'm currently working through.
All lessons learned.
Yes, definitely. But so you do that, you get your samples back. I went through a couple rounds of samples for some of the designs. The hardest one was the tankini. I went through a lot of rounds of samples for that. It's normal to have to go through at least 2 rounds of samples. I would say a lot of people go through like 4 to 6 rounds of samples It's much easier when you have a tech pack because they have a tech pack to follow. Once you approve your samples, you then go to the stage where you can order your bulk order. So when you order your bulk, you are choosing all the colors you want for all of the lines, everything you're ordering, all the hardware. You have to order all the hardware, order all the fabric to make all of the bathing suits. You have to have your tags designed, like your hanging tags to put in the bathing suits. You decide where you want the logo, if you want to put logos on the bathing suits. You need to decide on the label print inside. So like where it would say, like, this is a size medium and what you want on that label. And you have to order all of those pieces separately as well. You decide on the packaging. So we have biodegradable packaging, which our factory is great. They do biodegradable packaging for everyone, even if people aren't ordering sustainable products. So you basically just have to do all the little details as well through them. And then you order your bulk order and then you wait for them to create it.
How long does that take?
Well, COVID really, really messed up the supply chain. I think they say 8 to 12 weeks. I'm pretty sure. I ordered my bulk in January of 2022. I just finally received all of it, I think 3 weeks ago. Yeah. So that is a 7-month process that should have taken max 3 months.
Right.
But that is not, I mean, there were issues that happened with my manufacturer that there are things that can happen when you're starting a business. I mean, there's going to be issues you run into, but there was a lot of issues with the supply chain in terms of trying to get fabric because everything is so backed up right now.
Gotcha. During that time, so you have like one collection that's designed, it's with them, they're creating it. How are you designing the next one?
Mm-hmm. I have samples ready for the next collection currently.
I feel like this happens so like it's not fast, but it is interesting. Like when I hear about people that are like building brands, like they're always talking about like 2 to 3 seasons ahead.
Yes.
And in that way, it always seems fast.
So I have 3 or 4 collections planned out right now. Obviously, there's things you tweak and you change based on feedback from customers as you go. But I do technically have 4 lines lined up and created right now. They're just not obviously ordered, or I don't have the samples for them yet. I've had to push back a lot of them because of the issues with the supply chain and because of some issues I'm dealing with my manufacturer right now, where I haven't seen the new samples yet because I'm refusing to pay them for the other part of the samples because I'm waiting on, we had a lot of issues with the tankinis, as I've said, issues with the prints and the colors. There was some miscommunication with that. So all of that wraps into me kind of being stuck right now.
Yeah.
But
A
there
lot
are
of business
planned.
Yeah. Well, wow. And then okay, so now you have suits have been shipped to you.
Mm-hmm.
Then you create a website, have some sort of order system.
Yeah.
And then I believe you ship them yourself, right?
I do currently, yeah.
Okay. How does that work?
Originally, I created my website through Webflow, then very quickly found out that you can't do point of sale through that, which basically means if you go to like a pop-up or a market or something like that. So I switched over to Shopify. So Shopify, obviously, everyone knows. I mean, most people know about Shopify. It makes everything really easy with people being able to order and all that. And you can print even your shipping labels through that. So I send everything out myself currently. I think at some point I would have someone do that for me. But for now, I like being able to package the orders up and put like a little care card in it and like a thank you card and send it out. So I did have all the swimwear organized before, but as you know, I have been back and forth between Massachusetts and South Carolina. So, and I'm moving out of my apartment right now. So the product is kind of all over the place in different areas and not organized into the drawers that I normally have it in. But normally I have all the drawers organized, so I know exactly where to pull it from to put it into the bag and send out once I get an order. So once an order is placed, I fulfill them about 2 to 3 times a week. I don't fulfill them every day. But you print the shipping label, you put everything into the package. We have biodegradable bags that are pink that I think are really cute. And then I fill out, USPS can pick up your packages, which is great. So I don't have to actually go to USPS all the time.
I'm so sorry. What is there a charge for that?
No, it's free. Like you just
You're
have to fill it
kidding.
out and you can put it in your mailbox, anything. If it has a USPS label on it, they will pick it up.
Oh my God, oh, why didn't I do that? Literally, the post office scares me so bad. Like, I can mail a letter, I can
But
write a check.
why?
Like, I can do a lot of the things that like grown up old people will like complain that our generation can't do. I'm like, hush, Rita, I can do that. However, and I can even get the label onto the package. However, as soon as I am at the door of USPS, you might as well just burn me alive because I well, if somebody wants some consultation on how to redesign the entire USPS system, holla at your girl because one, it's unapproachable, it's too confusing, and there's way too much that's like a need to know slash like unless you like there's a lot of things that aren't communicated that if you're walking in there, it's not self-explanatory, and I feel like anything like that, like you walk into Target, you know exactly what you're doing. Like it's easy, there's signs, you're doing self-checkout. Like you could have never seen a self-checkout. They've got a lot of signage. Like you don't have to ask somebody what's up. USPS, they stare at you knowing that you're an outsider and that you don't know what you're doing. And they're like, yes, come up to me. I'm mean, I'm old, and I will shame you. Please come ask me for help. I want you to ask me right now.
Are
It's
your
dead staring
packages
at you.
already packaged up? Like you have the label on them?
Yes.
You know you can just drop them in the box, right?
Right
Like
to you. I hear
without
you.
walking in.
No, I hear you. I
Okay.
do. And I've
Mhm.
done that before. Um, I've also messed that up before. Like it's just, and I get scared that I don't have it right, and like I have a Lulu's return right now. I'm pretty sure I can't return them anymore because I'm pretty sure like I got the return label and everything within the time. It's been so long since that I haven't like shipped them because I'm scared of the post office, and so I'm probably gonna have to sell them on Poshmark because, and if anybody wants a white pair of Lulu's really cute little white heels, strappy heels, size 8.5, please DM me, and I'd be happy to supply.
Okay, to be fair on that, I never return things because I'm too lazy to actually return them. So I keep selling everything on like Depop. But you can just you just go to USPS.com.
Okay.
You click on quick tools. Why do I know this off the top of my head? And then schedule a package. And then you just type in your address. You click if you have a dog or not. And then you click what type of label it is, which will be written on the label. And then you put what the weight is. You can guess.
You have to have a scale?
No, you can guess.
Oh, okay.
I literally think I just put 1 pound randomly all the time. I don't actually ever do it. I mean, I should say that I should weigh my packages. I don't, but
Listen, this is the ins and outs of business ownership that people don't talk about.
you probably should, if you actually own a business, weigh them on like a food scale. But if you
Well,
don't,
also swimsuits is a little different, like how much
like
variation.
1/4 pound. Like I don't know.
Right. How much variation could there really be?
Yelled at me yet, so
Right.
I'm doing that much wrong.
Right.
Yeah, and then you submit, and when they come and get your mail the next day, or I mean, give you mail the next day, they just pick up your package and you're good.
What the hell? Okay. Well, learn something new every day. Well, fascinating. Um, Thank you for walking through that entire process and also teaching me something that I really, 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 really needed to know. Like, really needed to know. Like, you have no idea. Like, my family actively makes fun of me with the post office. Like, it's a thing. In fact, they like to remind me my boyfriend from high school I don't remember this, but I remember it a little bit. They seem to remember the details because they're the ones that find it funnier. I needed to ship him a package. I guess I had never shipped a package before. And I think I like didn't put his address. I think I put like, oh, I have to like make up his name. Like Brian Smith, Clemson, South Carolina. And I just like stuck it in the mail. And P.S. Nobody ever saw that package again.
Oh,
Not Brian,
what would
not
they
me.
do with it?
I don't know. I
Wait,
couldn't tell you what was in it.
feel like a lot better about myself because I was literally just having a conversation with my mom and I was like, Mom, I'm at such a weird age. Like, Sarah has a house, she's getting married, she has dinner parties. Like, she's such an adult, and I'm just over here, like,
No,
yeah,
I'm not.
all right, this
I'm
makes me feel
not.
a lot better about myself.
I'm not. It's all a ruse. You know what's funny? I was talking to my uncle today because he was asking me like stuff about the wedding and like when we want to have kids, blah blah blah. And I'm like, Uncle Tony, I don't think you understand. I'm at a stage in my life where I'm getting married at 25, and I look at my friends who are getting married. I'm like, oh my God, is she pregnant? Like, why are they getting married? We're like children. What are they doing? And I'm like, oh wait, I'm getting married on purpose.
Yeah.
And I am not
I
pregnant.
look at you and I'm like, my longest relationship, I think, has been 4 days. And then you're over here, you're walking down an aisle. You're
Yeah. I'm like, what the hell is
literally
that?
trying
And
to
we
fill
have
out
people,
your
we have
wedding
friends who
invitation. I literally didn't know how to fill out your wedding invitation because I've never been to a wedding for someone my age.
listen, that's not too bad. That's not that bad because on my wedding invitation, like for the RSVP, it's a postcard that you can like pull off and
That
it's
was
stamped and
really cool.
everything. Huh?
That was really cool. I thought that was
I
cool.
felt like that was really neat. And as somebody who needed something easy, I was like, let me make this easy for everybody else. And it has like M and a line. The only thing for context, everybody that she didn't know was what the M was for, which it's Mr.,
I was
Mrs.
thinking like Roman numerals, like
Yeah, like I totally get like where, I could have just put like name or something. Here's I had one of my friends, sweet person. And she texted me, she said, "Hey, have you gotten my RSVP? I've never sent a postcard before." And I'm thinking, I'm also gonna make up her name. Marissa, what did you do? Because, guys,
you just stick it in the mail.
you just stick it in the mail. Like when I say you just stick it in the mail, like I had the stamp on it. Like all you had to do, and there was a little thing. She didn't even have to put.
Address,
You
like
didn't even
everything.
have to put her. No, you don't have to put your address on it. You don't have to put anything on it. Like and even if she didn't want to write her name, news to everybody, in invisible ink on the back of your postcard, I have written your name. So even if you forgot your name, I've got it. I know who sent it. Like all you had to do was check like, yes, I'm coming, or no, I'm not, and then stick that sucker back in your mailbox, put the red flag up. So I'm like, she's like, I've never sent a postcard before. I'm like, did you put it in an envelope? I swear to God, Marissa, if you put this in an envelope and stamped it again and like did a whole thing, I'm going to laugh my arse off.
She put a stamp next to the other stamp.
That I hope so. I hope so. I hope. I really, and I was like, I don't know because I haven't checked the mail and I still haven't checked the mail. And I'll do this thing where I don't check the mail for like 2 days. And so I don't know. There might be a surprise. I'm also like, guys, especially the people who are my age, guys, there's a website on there. How is it that all the old people are like RSVPing
You
via the
are
website?
the website?
Yes.
I just texted you.
Or do that. Who cares?
Like, hey, I'm gonna be there. You already know this.
Right. Honestly, I really need to do that for like the Gibbons because of course, like our wedding party and like my mom's like, I'm not RSVPing. I'm like, all right. But I haven't marked the obvious ones yet. So I'm like, only this many people have RSVP'd. Now, granted, a lot less people have said no so far than we've thought. And we're like,
Oh God, that's the
oh,
word.
yeah, oh God.
Is there like a
Um,
percentage that's supposed to be like people who say no?
huh?
Isn't there like a percentage they say to do that
About
you?
20%. And COVID has made that higher.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
How
what are
many
you?
people do you want at your wedding?
120?
Okay.
We probably invited like 160.
Okay.
We'll see. Anyway, that's like completely diverged from, but honestly, entertainment, good for the content. To close this out, first of all, thank you so much for being open about the process and being willing to share. To kind of round this out, along the lines of creativity and kind of building something on your own, what has been the most helpful like tip or trick for you or lesson in terms of finding your creativity, expressing your creativity, and using your creativity?
There's my art teacher in high school. She used to always say like happy accidents, like when you mess up, and how you can turn the happy accident into something else. And I'm someone who's so like, we say I'm creative and that stuff, but I'm also such like a perfectionist that I really struggled with some of my creativity. And like that saying like happy accident has been very helpful because it's like, okay, you can create it and turn it into something new, which I've loved and definitely has helped me in a sense of being creative, that not everything has to be perfect and not everything has to be exactly the way my brain has pictured something.
Yeah, I like that. Did she get that from Bob Ross?
I have no idea.
Or did Bob Ross get that from her?
I'm going to say he got it from her because she was really nice.
Oh, okay. You know who Bob Ross is, right?
I know who Bob Ross is.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say she made it up herself.
I'll be honest, girly, I really think she considered
She totally did, but we're just going to say she made it up.
What?
She totally got it from him.
Oh, 100%.
100%. We're just going to say she made it up though.
Yeah, for her.
And I didn't watch Bob Ross, so it's fine.
So your entire life, you've been moved by happy accidents thinking
No, I'm aware of it now, okay? But
okay, gotcha. I'm just checking.
I'm still like, I didn't hear it from him first, even though it's
got it. So you still associate it.
So like, I'm gonna, what you said.
She shared it with you. That was still a piece of wisdom that she dropped on your pretty little head. So it's okay. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. Thank you so much for sharing. And where can people find you if they want to learn more about? Oh my gosh, you know what we never said?
What?
The name of your brand. Incredible. Never said the name of your brand. Didn't even know you went to school. What's the name of your brand?
Siren Swim Co. It's like a siren, like a mermaid, except it's not a mermaid.
Except it's not a mermaid. It's a way more intense mermaid. So where can people find you if they want to look at your swimsuits and learn more about you and all those type of things?
Well, Siren Swim's website is sirenswimco.com. And the Instagram is also Siren Swim Co. or at Siren Swim Co. And then me personally,
you don't have to share your personals as well if you don't want to. Huh?
I don't think anyone wants to be able to find that.
Totally up to you. Siren, but yes, Siren Swim Co. We'll have all the links in the bio as well. Thank you so much for coming on. And guys, definitely go order. Her swimsuits are such good quality. I have a couple of them myself. I love them. They're incredible. And yeah, thank you so much for being on here. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.